One. What's up, everyone? Brent Hess here with CageZilla Unchained. We are here with one half of our main event, undefeated amateur featherweight champion for CageZilla, Billy Kirk. How you doing today, my man?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good, man. Good. Thanks for joining us, and excited to have you on here today. And of course, excited to have you on CageZilla 82 coming up here. Let's get right into it, man. Tell us a little bit about your MMA journey. What got you into the sport and got you up to this point?
So I ran track and cross country all through being a little kid, high school, then through college. I ran just like a small D3 school in Maryland, Salisbury University. Unfortunately, got kicked off the team for, just kind of having some troubles with authority, not liking to listen to my coach and whatnot. So when that happened, kind of needed to pick up a new sport, and I had a friend who had just stopped running, and he had just started going to a jiu-jitsu gym near school. So I figured I'd give it a try. I went there, and at that point, I was probably running like 90 miles a week. So I thought like
Jeez.
cardio wise, like nothing could tire me out. I was invincible with that. And I went there and obviously got my ass beat, but also was just like dead tired. And I was like, oh my God, like I didn't think anything could make me tired. So I had to go back, kept getting my ass beat for a while, but slowly just got into jujitsu. That first gym was only jujitsu, was just gi jujitsu. And then when I
Okay.
graduated and came back home, took some time off. Everything was a little beat up. And then eventually, like a year later, I got back into it and found Evolve Academy in Gaithersburg, Maryland, and slowly started doing some striking, kind of mixing everything together. And to me, I just wanted to compete in the sport that I participate in. So like at first I was doing jiu-jitsu competitions and stuff, but then when I started doing striking and everything, I figured, all right, well, if I'm gonna do the sport, I'll do the whole sport, and started trying to get a fight. And it took a little while to get a fight because Liam, I was actually supposed to fight him. He was supposed to be my first amateur opponent in like 2020 or something when COVID hit.
Yeah.
And then COVID made us we tried to have the fight. I think CageZilla tried to have a promotion like 3 or 4 times, kept getting canceled. And then he got hurt, and then I got hurt. And then it just never happened. But eventually, I guess in 2023, I finally got a fight. And I also joined the fire department somewhere in the middle of that. So that prolonged me trying to get a fight. And eventually, had my first fight, and I think I've fought every 4 months since then.
Wow, man. Yeah, no, I know you're an undefeated amateur, 4-0 with all finishes, man. So you are a finisher. That's awesome. And your cardio must be pretty incredible running. Are you still running that often? I mean, that
Oh no,
that
I
that
don't run at all anymore. I hated it. I hated running. Running sucks. Running's boring. I just did it because I was good at it, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah.
I was happy to be done with that.
Still good cardio though.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And so your coach, Mike Moses, I know him. He's been around the circuit a long time, back even when I was fighting, and we know each other. We have great mutual respect. He was inducted into the CageZilla Hall of Fame as a coach in 2022. Tell us what role he's played, what kind of influence he's had in in bringing you to this point in your MMA journey.
Mhm. Uh, Master Mike's he's a lot of things because I think he's kind of gone through as a lot of people do in their martial arts journey between being your own fighter to being a coach to being a gym owner to being a coach and gym owner to then eventually being more of just a gym owner. So I mean, he's still certainly my coach and my head coach, but I think he's got a lot of other things to focus on.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of people in the gym that are have a hand in helping me out, and he's definitely the head of that, but I'd say he's more of a role model, a great gym leader, and maybe a little bit less of my head coach, or maybe just has a little bit less of a hand directly in what I do day to day. He certainly is in charge of anything he tells me to do, I'll do it.
Yeah.
But me and Muhammad, who's also fighting on the card, is my
Yeah.
main training partner. We bounce around, we go to other gyms. To get training in, to see other guys. Because Evolve, again, is a great gym, but it's a little bit more family oriented, a little bit more of a jujitsu gym, and less of like a MMA specific fight gym.
Right.
So we'll go up to like ground control, or occasionally we'll go to Lloyd Irving's, and get lots of training in with different people.
Cool.
But yeah, I mean, at the moment, especially having been an amateur this whole time, wouldn't say I haven't been taking it serious, but I definitely haven't been taking it like it's a profession to me.
Right.
So I don't think that's changed quite yet, but I think we're dabbling, we're moving in that direction, I guess.
Well, yeah, speaking of Mike, being a gym owner and a coach, and he plays a lot of roles, and, you certainly at some point, you can't do everything. So he must have to
Hmm.
delegate to, certain coaches. And it's good that you're going around to, I know at least ground control there with Coach John Rollo and those guys. You're getting some good training there. He's a great guy. And that kind of leads me into what you were saying. It leads me into my next point. I know now you're moving into the pro ranks. You shined really brightly in the CageZilla cage here thus far. Tell us a little bit about kind of like what's maybe changed, how you've evolved, right? To use your gym name, how
Hmm.
you've kind of evolved from where you started to now joining the pro ranks.
So I think for I think a lot of people refer to fighters as like one of three categories. I think I hear a lot, which is like martial artist, fighter, and athlete. And
Yeah,
to me, it's a sport, and I think of myself as an athlete, and I'm just showing up and competing in the sport I do. So at a certain point, I think it was just a natural progression. It's not so much that I have these grandiose dreams of being UFC champion. I don't have a specific plan of where I'm trying to go. I think I just kind of want to see at what level I can compete at. So I think at a certain point, I figured you got to turn pro to be able to fight the better guys. So I think
yeah,
that was just the next step, the next logical step in seeing where I'm at and seeing what level I can compete at.
in your progression, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. So Liam Pinheiro, your opponent, you guys were scheduled to fight back in 2021. I'm not sure exactly why that happened. You were explaining a little bit. I guess injuries, things like that happen, but the stars must have been aligned, man. I mean, it must have
Yeah.
been destined for you guys to stand across the cage from each other. What? Tell us what you know about him, what you're looking forward to in this matchup, and what strategies maybe that you can share with us that might be beneficial to you.
To be honest, I don't do a lot of like research or watching videos or anything. He actually commentated, I think, either my last fight or the one before that. So he talked to me backstage a little bit. So I've talked to him once or twice.
Okay.
Seems like a super nice guy, super cool guy. Again, like I'm in this sport as an athlete, not as like a fighter or anything like that. So I don't have these like I'm not trying to go in there and kill anybody. I'm not like thinking of it as like I'm going to war or anything like that. I'm showing up and competing in a sport and just hoping that I'm the better guy that day.
Yeah.
Um, but he seems like an awesome guy. As far as his skill sets, I mean, he definitely has some submission wins. I think that was where he got his start was jiu-jitsu. So um, that's kind of my wheelhouse too. So if we end up on the ground, I think that'd be cool. See what happens. Otherwise, I would honestly prefer to stay standing up because I need that experience. Because again, I just kind of want to see where I'm at. I want to see what kind of skills I have and how they add up with other people. So in every single one of my fights, I haven't really had any plans of going straight to the ground. But it
Yeah.
seems like every time I fight, the other person wants to grab a hold of you. So like the second you start throwing punches, they clench up, and then I mean, I guess it just kind of goes from there, and it always ends up on the ground. I guess just like the Gracies always say, fights always end up on the ground. I guess that's just kind of where they fall. But
Right.
hopefully we can get some striking in there, get some good stand up, and just kind of see where I'm at. But I think he's got a little bit of a fluid karate sideways style. He switches stances. He seems like he's got a lot going on. So I think he's gonna be a really great fight. I think so far a lot of the guys I've fought have been maybe a little one dimensional, and I think he's got a lot of different aspects to his fight game. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see where I'm at, fight at a higher level, and see what we can do.
That's awesome. Very insightful and definitely a main event treat, a main event fight that I'm looking forward to, December 14th. Now, you know, in our audience, they're already building the buzz about this fight. You know, two of the best featherweights to step in the CageZilla cage. You know, two former featherweight champions in the CageZilla cage. Tell us, you know, tell us what kind of energy you're bringing into December 14th, and tell the audience a little bit about what Billy's feeling heading into CageZilla 82.
For the most part, I just like to have fun with it. I mean, like once I'm in there and the fight starts, obviously it's all serious, and you know,
Yeah.
no one's looking to get hurt. So I'm not in there doing wild stuff, or I'm not one for crazy moves or anything. I'm not throwing spinning roundhouse whatevers. But up until then, you know, I walk out to Party in the USA by Miley Cyrus. I go in there. I've got my fun little mustache curls going on.
Yeah.
I like to have a little fun with it. When I ran track and stuff before, I'd always wear like very flamboyant, wild clothing and stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, once the bell rings, I mean, we're fighting. I'm not messing around, but I like to have some fun with it. It can't be all serious. It can't be all a war. Otherwise, you're ramped up for too long leading up to the fight, and I think that is a recipe for disaster. So you got to have some fun with it in there.
Good. I like that. I always say it's hard to beat a fighter who's in there having fun, you know, and that sounds like that's right up your wheelhouse. That's kind of what you got going on, man. Well, before we leave here, share with us a quote, a motto, maybe something empowering, maybe something your coaches have shared with you along the way, and you can share with us and kind of empower our audience maybe a little.
So this quote's sounds a little serious, but I think it's a little fun. It's a quote by it's attributed to a '70s famous runner, Steve Prefontaine, but I don't
Okay.
think it's a real quote. I don't think he actually said it, but it's attributed to him. It's the best pace is a suicide pace, and today is a great day to die. So
Mm.
you just kind of go in there and you go balls to the walls and you give it everything you got. And if you end up on top, you end up on top. If you don't, you don't.
I like that, man. I haven't heard that one before, but I like that. Keep a good pace and be ready to die in there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, that's awesome. Now, share with us a little bit before you leave. How can we follow you? How can we show you a little love online? Whether that's your social medias, your team's social medias.
Hmm.
How can we, you know, like I say, support your journey?
Yeah. So again, I'm kind of lagging behind with any of the professional aspects to this, but my Instagram is just Billy Kirk one.
Okay.
But for some great content, you can find Evolve Academy or Mike Moses on Instagram and YouTube, and he puts out some great videos. You can also find him on TikTok, but you can find our gym and Coach Mike Moses on all the socials.
Yeah, yeah, I've been seeing him put out some. He's actually putting out some pretty funny videos
Yeah, he puts out some fun
too.
stuff. Yeah.
So I like that. I like that he's getting into it. So, well, that's awesome, man. Guys, the main event is truly exciting here coming up at CageZilla 82. Make sure you guys are in-house. You can pick up tickets at CageZilla.com. You can use promo code EVOLVE if you want a ticket and you want to show a little love to Billy. Billy, thank you for joining us today. I hope training and training camp continues to go awesome for you. Truly excited to see you step back into that CageZilla cage. And thank you once again for joining us, my man.
Thank you for having me, sir.
All right. All right, guys. Once again, Brent Hess with CageZilla Unchained. Until next time, much love and respect. We'll see you guys all very soon.
With a dream, my cardigan.